Okay, welcome everybody. We had a
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Welcome everybody. I'm sorry for our technical delays, but we're finally on the air now. I am Robert Press, official reporter for the Bronx Chronicle. I also write for the Co-op City News, Parkchester Times, and as you see, Parrot TV, we have a live TV show, which is also on YouTube. It hit 60 degrees yesterday, so I put on my short sleeve shirt. I've got my short sleeves out of the closet, and it should be in the low 50s today. And well, so much for the weather. Before I get into the politics of the week, I must tell you what is going on at Community Board 11 in the East Bronx. The new chair, Bernadette Ferrara, is running for city council. Monday, March 20th, I was placed as a community committee member on the housing committee. After being called by the consultant for 8 months, I was finally put on as a member of the committee, of the housing committee of Community Board 11. That doesn't mean that I was a community board member, but a community committee member of the housing committee. I received an email from the CB11 chair, Bernadette Ferrara, that I was no longer a member of the CB11 Housing Committee on March 23rd because I refused to take down a Bronx Times article about Republican candidate Christy Maramato's candidacy put up by a constituent or a resident of CB11. And also because I refused to take down postings by another CB11 resident that was critical of CB11. On my Facebook page, The New Friends of CB11, which was patterned after the Facebook page, Friends of CB11, administered by a private person who is not on CB11. However, that person is also on the Community Board 11 social media committee. That private page, up to today, had a policy to allow politics on it, but today has changed that policy to say no politics. However, there is or was a post from somebody who is promoting 6 candidates for city council, including the chair of CB11, Ms. Bernadette Ferrara. It included asking for donations in order to get matching funds. That seems to be okay with Community Board 11 Chair Ferrara. And yes, I have complained to the Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson, after receiving the emails from CB11 Chair Ferrara, saying, and in the email she says, I thought we had a deal. I put you on the CB11 Housing Committee, and you were supposed to remove those items from your Facebook page, New Friends of CB11. Then she writes, there was no deal. I thought we had a gentleman's agreement. I have sent all of these emails that I received from the Community Board 11 chair, Bernadette Ferrara, threatening me. And I have asked the borough president to handle this matter, whether she is going to remove Bernadette Ferrara as chair of CB11 or completely from the board. And I've asked the borough president that maybe the conflict of interest board needs to look at this. All right, I'm sorry if I have to air personal gripes, but this seems very important because it involves a government agency, a city agency, which is Community Board 11. And there have been things going on at CB11 that people have complained about, and I'm just going to leave it at that and leave it in the borough president's hands. Okay, on to politics now. Donald Trump and Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan District Attorney. First, it was Tuesday that Donald Trump was going to be indicted, or brought in. Then it was Thursday. Now it is going to be Monday. that Manhattan DA Bragg is going to charge or have Donald Trump's testimony or whatever. He's going to do, he's accusing him of prostitution, being that, it seems that's what Donald Trump has done, paying for sex. All right. However, there's a little problem about DA Bragg. He has not prosecuted one case of prostitution since he's come in office, and he said he won't prosecute a case of prostitution, which is not legal yet, even though the state's legislature wants to legalize it. And if a certain state senator was there, it probably would have been. But it's still illegal. And let's see what happens Monday if Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA, prosecutes his first prostitution case against Donald Trump. Okay. Next, the George Santos watch. Nothing new to report. He is still a congressman. He has filed to run for re-election, but people are lining up on both sides of the aisle to run against him in Congressional District 3. Now, let me think. Congressional District 3. That was the district that former state Senator Alessandra Biaggi was going to run in. Maybe she wants to run again in Congressional District 3. Alessandra Biaggi, do you hear me? There should be people running, lining up. Maybe you can get into Congressional District 3 now. Okay, here's a good one. It seems that American M1 Abrams tanks will be delivered to the Ukraine by the fall. President Biden said that it could take up to 2 years, but it seems the M1 tank, which has a 105 millimeter M68 cannon on it, has a fuel capacity of 504.4 gallons and costs $6.21 million each, are going to be sent to the Ukraine by the fall. That could be because the U.S. has a new tank, the M1A2 Abrams tank, which is now in use and has a 120 millimeter cannon with 50 caliber M2 machine guns. It has a maximum speed of 42 miles per hour, a range of 265 miles, and a 1,500 horsepower gas turbine engine. I don't know, maybe Mayor Adams here in New York City should ask for some of these tanks and give them to the police to maybe control the crime. That might be a good solution. And, let's see a tank going 40 miles an hour on our city streets. But next is the state budget. Will the state budget be on time, which is April 1st, that's Saturday, April 1st, or will Governor Hochul and the State Assembly have another late budget? Or I should say Governor Hochul's first late budget, because they have problems. They're apart on several key issues, with both houses proposing different state budget bills as opposed to Governor Hochul's bill. Problems in this are that the governor wants, or the Buffalo Bills, which is the largest pro sports team, the problem is the subsidiary of the stadium. The Senate and the Assembly are saying maybe we're giving them too much money for that stadium. How many times does a football team play in their home stadium? Let's see, there are 18 games. So that means they only play 9 games in the stadium the whole year, as opposed to a baseball team that may play 81 games in a stadium. Is 9 games worth all those millions and millions of dollars that they're giving to the Buffalo Bills? Another problem is bail reform. The governor wants to have a little reform in the bail laws, and the progressive state Senate and somewhat progressive Assembly are sticking to their guns, because it was Assembly Leader Carl Hastie and many of the state senators, including the Bronx Democratic County leader, State Senator Jamal Bailey, who set forth these new bail reforms. The idea is to have less people in jails in the city. Rikers Island, for instance, is supposed to close by 2027, but now we hear that it may close by 2029 because there's a problem with the Brooklyn jail. It won't be finished until 2029. So that means that Rikers may have to stay open till 2029. Also, it seems that they want to put into North Central Bronx Hospital and Jacoby Hospital the up to 1,000 sick, supposedly sick Rikers Island detainees. Now, what the plan at Jacoby Hospital is to have little 400 square foot apartments that they'll get a lease for, and this will be a rent stabilized apartment. So if a person's found innocent, they can stay there. If they're found guilty, they'll wind up in prison. But pardon me, they're not going to wind up in prison because they will be released, okay, no matter what, because of their illness. So that's one of the sticking points. The other point is the governor's housing proposal, because she wants to give outside the city, the towns and local areas, money to build affordable housing. There's kickback from the areas, certain parts of Nassau County, Suffolk County, and upstate say, no, we don't want any affordable housing. We have our housing here. And the Senate and the Assembly, again, are fighting her on her housing proposal because they don't want to give those added monies to these little towns and cities. And let me tell you, the last late budget was in 2021 when it came in on April 6th. And then the latest budget came in 2010 under David Patterson, when the state budget was finally approved in August of 2010. I'm going to try now. We're going to stop here for a moment because we're at, say, a halfway mark. We're going to come back with a little more because it seems, well, let me just finish this part. It seems that Mayor Bloomberg has brought out $5 million for ads to help Governor Hochul get her proposed budget passed. And let me stop right here for my commercial and say I'll see you after the commercial.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your product and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the websites they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our news site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Welcome back. It seems I forgot one thing about the state budget. The state legislature is now considering taxing streaming services such as Netflix, as opposed to a proposal by Governor Hochul to increase the payroll tax to fund the MTA. Not going to say anything about the MTA. We have 4 new Metro North stations coming to the Bronx. Mayor Adams has proposed 6,000 new affordable housing units at only 2 of the 4 stations. I don't see why it's not 6,000 through the 4 stations, which would put 1,500 at each station. But that's in the future. That may not come to be, and we'll see. Now, what has come to light is that Bronx Assemblywoman Amanda Septimo has not filed a campaign finance report from July 17th, 2018. However, since this has come to light, she just has filed her campaign finance disclosure on March 17, 2023. I mean, this is terrible that we have 5 years of not knowing what money that that Assemblywoman Septimo has brought in and how she's spending it. There needs to be accountability, but she's not alone in missing campaign finance reports. It was also reported that former Assemblyman Jose Rivera, his challenger Emmanuel Martinez, and the winner, the new Assemblyman of the 78th Assembly seat, Mr. George Alvarez, they filed their 32-day pre-primary disclosures on May 27th, but they all missed the 11-day pre-primary deadline on June 17th. And also reported by Focus, New York Focus, Assemblyman Aubrey and his challenger have not filed also since February 2022. And New York Focus reports also that in 2021, more than 300 political committees haven't submitted timely filings. It was also mentioned that enforcement by the State Board of Elections is lax because the State Campaign Finance Board lacks the resources to go through the backlog of all of these non-payments or non-filings. In New York City, police overtime seems to be an issue now. City Controller Brad Lander has said that the police department is over budgeted by $100 million now, and there are 3 months to go. Could be the reason that the police overtime is being used so much is there are less officers now on the street as more and more are retiring from the city, being fed up with what's going on and saying it's time for me to retire. So in order to replace that retiring or leaving police officer, overtime by other officers have to be put in. So we could see at least $200 million in overtime possibly by the police department. And certain elected officials want to cut the police budget. All we need to do is try and hire new police officers. But in this atmosphere of anti-police, nobody really wants to become a police officer also. So we are losing 10 officers and only gaining 5 new ones. And that's going to be a problem down the line somewhere. And Mayor Adams is going to have to deal with this through his administration. Now, speaking of Mayor Adams, he came to the Bronx River Houses yesterday, actually, to announce that NYCHA houses or NYCHA developments will be getting free internet and free basic cable. It's called the Big Apple Connect, where tenants will receive, like I said, free internet connections with download speeds of up to 300 megabits, free wireless routers, free modems, free basic cable TV, a free cable box, and a free remote control. Gee, I wish I could have that. This is happening in 53 NYCHA housing developments, and 14 of the Bronx NYCHA housing developments are connected. In Brooklyn, 55 sites. Of the 55 NYCHA developments, 20 are connected. In Manhattan, of the 66 NYCHA sites, 25 are connected. In Queens, 20 of the NYCHA sites, 5 are connected. And Staten Island, of the 8, 3 are connected. That means there are 67 connected and 120 left to do. But my question is, if Queens is the second largest borough in the city, why does it only have 20 NYCHA housing developments, whereas the Bronx has 53, Brooklyn 55, and Manhattan 66? Queens should have that number too. Why is NYCHA developments, or why aren't NYCHA developments in Queens? Now, speaking also of the mayor, he said that 7 miles of the Greenway from the High Bridge, in which connects Manhattan and the Bronx, will be added along the Harlem River from the High Bridge, where the Greenway will go up to Van Cortlandt Park along the Putnam Trail that was until recently inaccessible along the Major Deegan route. There's about a 2-mile stretch of old Putnam railroad tracks or right-of-way that is along the Major Deegan Highway that was bought by the city, and this will be added. So there'll be 7 new miles of Greenway into Van Cortlandt Park from High Bridge. This is a good one. The Kingsbridge Armory. They had a workshop on what to do with the armory. That is since the ice center idea was scrapped and is gone. There will be no ice center at the Kingsbridge Armory. And it seemed like deja vu because I attended this workshop. It seemed like deja vu. And I said to myself, didn't we do this 10 years ago? Now, here was the Welcome to Public Workshop 3, discussion activity, build your armory. We were there in 2013. The proposal was by Mayor Bloomberg, shops at the armory, which would then kill businesses on Fordham Road and Kingsbridge Road. And basically, then the buildings would be replaced by high-rise towers, which would be right next to the subway stations. So people, and that was Mayor Bloomberg's idea of gentrifying the Kingsbridge Armory area. Kevin Diola has written $7 million is only seed money for a study, not construction of the Greenway. But no, Kevin, according to Mayor Bloomberg's press release, he is building that 7-mile Greenway. Next item will be Penn Station access. What's happening now, like I said, with those 6,000 apartments that the mayor wants to build, this is dated February 10th, 2020. This is from the MTA. It's for Community Board 11. Nowhere in here is there anything about building affordable housing. I can't see why there's any going to be really that much affordable housing. I know that Montefiore Hospital will be building most of the housing or developments that are by the Morris Park Station. And, well, Parkchester will be condos built up. There's an big empty block there ready to build right next to the station. And by the way, if you think you can get on with a Metro card, forget about it. The fare on the Metro North trains are by distance how far you're going. And it's not cheap. All right, if you're going from the Bronx to Manhattan, it's around $10. Okay, off-peak fares are a little cheaper, but if you're going rush hour, you're going to be soaked. And people buy monthly tickets, which still cost about $5 each way into and back from Penn Station. All right. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the Borough President's Irish Heritage Celebration. It will be up on my blog as soon as I end this show. My blog is 100percentbronx.blogspot.com. I have lots of photos of Borough President Diaz. My mistake. Borough President Gibson, Deputy Borough President Puego, and it was a lovely event at Rambling House. The Borough President honored several people. Let me read you their names. Jimmy Casey, Brian Golden for Toys for Kids, Kim Ferrelty, the president of Women of Woodlawn. She honored the Emerald Island Immigration Center, and I hope I get this one right, Deidre Sekulik, the Assistant Director of Social Work at Montefiore's Department of Social Services. There was also a youth award given to Aisling Coleman, a student at PS 19, the Judith K. White School. There was a lovely invocation by Father David Power of St. Helen's Church, and it was a beautiful program. Congratulations to Borough President Gibson. I got that one right for that. And since we started a little late, I'm going to end the show in a few minutes. I know this is going to be a short show, but I want to end it because we started late. We're at now 11:45. So I'm going to end the show right now and ask my producer to put on the last commercial.
Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? Then Halal Finder is your online resource directory pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by paying zakat and sadaqah to our Compassion platform on halalfinder.com, you have supported the poor, widows or widowers, orphans, and the likes around the world. Contact us at info@halalfinder.com or call +1 718 822 5555. Get started today at halalfinder.com.
Undoubtedly, Africa is the best tourism destination on earth. The continent is blessed with the most conducive atmosphere. To feel and enjoy these blessings, join the most productive one-week tour of the continent organized by Daylight Africa every September 2nd to September 9th to see beyond the fallacies about Africa on the mainstream media. Contact us at daylightafrica@gmail.com or call 718-8